Hello, this is a video on how to tune the violin. So I'm just going to teach a little bit on how to turn the pegs when you don't have fine tuners, or maybe you do have fine tuners, but they get too tight sometimes, and you have to turn the pegs eventually. All right, maybe I'll just start. This violin is in tune, so I'm gonna make it out of tune. Starting with the A string. So I like to use the tuning app called Pano Tuner. It's free. It looks like this. And if it's green, your note is in tune. If it's red, it's out of tune. So it's kind of nice to see the color. Maybe I don't know if I can make it so that you can see it on the screen while I tune, but I don't think I can do that right now. But let's see. No, that doesn't work. Okay. So I'm just gonna show you how you do it with the pegs. So A, right now it's saying it's a G, like almost a perfect G. So it's supposed to be an A. You want to make sure that says A when you're tuning the A. So what I'm gonna do is I like to put my right hand on the A peg. So you look at where the A is, the A string goes right and it rolls into the peg that it belongs to. So you can see that. So the A is in this peg. And it's safe to go down. You can go down as much as you want. You can go down until the string gets loose, and that's how we take the string out and replace it. So it will not break that way. It's safe to bring it down. It's not, you can break the string by going up and tuning it very tight. So if it's too tight, it will break. So that's why I'm making this video, because I teach lessons and online, and I can't tune it for you. You're gonna have to do it yourself. So you have to be very careful when you turn it up. I would like you to do this very slowly, and like if it's loose, then you just keep plucking it. I want it to sound low while you pluck it, and slowly turn it higher. That's a good speed of turning the peg. What you hear right now is how it should sound. It should not sound really like, what I don't want to hear is, it might break that way. These are old strings, so it's less likely to break if they're, yeah, these are kind of, I have an extra set of strings, so I don't mind if mine breaks, but yeah, you don't want it to, you're turning it too fast if you hear that. And then, yeah, so when you're ready, when you're getting kind of close, maybe I'll get close here. All right, let's say I'm getting to a G here. So this is a G. I'm going to take my left hand and push it against my left hand so it's tight, because you want it to be tight. If it's not tight, it'll just drop back down on its own when as soon as you let go of the peg. Sometimes it'll stay there without you pushing, but it depends on how good your pegs are. Right now it's a G, so it's really close. I might be able to use the fine tuner if your fine tuners are very loose, but I'm going to go ahead and turn it a little bit. Now it's a G sharp, and you just have to be kind of careful. You can bring it down before you go back up, just to be safe, because you don't want to go too high and break the string really fast and jerk it. So it's always safe to go back down a little bit. It's also a little easier. So now it's a little higher than an A, and if you have fine tuners, here's what it looks like on here. A little bit on the high side. It's still in the green, so it's an A according to my tuner. And if you have fine tuners, you can just turn it down a little bit. Like I only have an E here, but lefty loosey. So left makes it go lower, and it'll also feel looser. So there you go. And if you don't have a fine tuner like me, you just have to just keep try to get it as close as you can. So this is pretty close. it's a little high. But if you have to tune the other strings, you're going to have to tune those before you make a perfect A, because the A is just going to go back out of tune when you tune your other strings if they're out of tune. So I'll do the same thing with the other strings. I'm plucking it. I want to listen to the pitch while it goes up and down, so you can hear it if it's close to a D, or when it hits the D, you can stop turning it. In this case, I was able to just push it in with my hand, with my fingers on the other side of the scroll. If it's hard for you, you can do it that way. You can just push it in like that. If it's really hard and it's not sticking easily, or if it is, you don't necessarily have to. It depends on your violin. I'm just pushing it in like that. So, and I'll do the same thing with the G. And I'll just push it in, or you can push it in like that. So yeah, when you push it in, it goes down a little bit in pitch most of the time. So it'll just be a little bit, just from pushing it in, it'll go down in pitch. So I like to turn it up a little too much. Like I'll do this for the E. I'll make the E go a little higher than what it's supposed to be. Mine is really tight, so I have to bring it down to make it looser first. Okay, so that's an E. And I'm just going to make it a little higher. Oh, this one's more. Okay, I'll show you an example. I'm going to let go and it's going to drop. I didn't push it in. So that's what happens when you don't push it in. It just drops. So I can probably put some peg dope in my E peg to fix that or something. But for now, I'm gonna tuning it a little bit too high, and then I'm just gonna push it in, and it's gonna go down a little bit in pitch. So actually, yeah. And then I can just use the fine tuner to make it perfect. Actually, my fine tuner was already kind of it was already too loose, so I have to tighten my fine tuner. So I'm actually making it lower. So this E now is too low. I made it lower with the peg so that I can tighten my fine tuner, because my fine tuner was too loose. So now I can make it an E. All right. The next thing is using your bow. Just the bow will play an accurate pitch, more accurate than plucking. Like if this A is a little bit too low, so I'm just gonna. Yeah, let me show you my left hand here. So I use my index finger to put it on the opposite side of the peg that I'm not turning. If you can see that, that's how I do it. And then I just use my thumb and middle finger to turn the peg. So this is how I like to tune. If you have to turn it in, push it in. Or if it's staying in really well, you don't need to have anything on the other side. You can just push it up and down. But to tighten it, you have to have a finger on the other side. That makes sense, to push it in. Or you can just push it in like that. You can just squeeze it in. So now it's a little bit too high. I could just pull the string. That made it too low. So in this case, when I'm pushing it in, it goes down a little bit in pitch. This is not a perfect A, but it's pretty close. So I'll do the same thing with the D. Now I'm on the other side. I'm just kind of turning it without any fingers on the other side. But when I tighten it, I'll have to do something like that to make it stay in place. My D peg is pretty cooperative, so my G is a little bit low, and I'm kind of pushing it in anyway. Whenever I turn it, I'm kind of, you can put your weight into the peg box. This is the peg box, to make it stay in place. And I guess it's also you're holding it with your chin kind of hard to make it stay. Otherwise, you can just do this, or you can do that to push the peg into the box. So, my A is still not quite right. Yeah, so there's my tuning tutorial. Thank you for watching. Hope that helps.